Hello, this is my second attempt. American morality. I like to ask a rhetorical question. What is American morality? What does it mean? What is it exactly? Because I've been thinking about this, about American morality. The people that are dictating our morals are those that have lived a life of sin, a life of hate, who have done nothing to actually build, to make the lives of people better, but instead make the world crueler for those who already are struggling in our society. Whether it's Trump, Stephen Miller, and all of those thugs, it's all the same. America, as a country, I'll be labeled extremist by saying this, but again, I'm already labeled extremist. I'm probably on some list somewhere. Has no morals. It never has. Our founding fathers were all pedophiles. Our founding fathers were degenerates that owned slaves, and some of them even raped their own children. They were Jeffrey Epstein before Jeffrey Epstein existed. They were Goebbels and Hitler before Goebbels or Hitler were born. Some of the shit they did almost a century before either Hitler or Goebbels were even born. All the ideas that Goebbels and Hitler would be inspired by were the founding fathers. Though it's interesting how the most moral of them, Thomas Paine, doesn't inspire fascists. I find that fascinating. It really is fascinating that the most moral among them doesn't inspire nearly as many fascists as Washington, Franklin, Adams. People can just say, "Oh, what the fuck are you talking about? The founding fathers were not like the Nazis." Really? If you read some of their quotes and you compare them to the Nazis, they didn't sound that much different. The way they talked about indigenous peoples, the way they talked about black people, the way they talked about women. These people were fucking pigs. They were monsters, all of them. This is the pinnacle of morality. Fucking owning slaves, raping your children, which is what some of them actually did. Doing what Trump is doing now, some of them being child traffickers. I mean, every little fucking thing that these reactionaries claim to fucking care about, the founding fathers did all these things. And I'll even say that to those who are so-called leftists. I'm just going to call them fucking left liberals, or whatever the fuck you want to call them, who want to actually prop up these fucking people. They were all fucking monsters. They all committed genocides that would fucking make freaking Benjamin Netanyahu blush. It's so hypocritical. And the idea of American morality is absurd. It truly is absurd. Because what does it mean to be an American and to be moral? What does it mean to be an American Christian and be moral? Because 9 times out of 10, if I see some white motherfucker who calls himself a Christian, I'm going to stay the fuck away from them, because I'm going to assume that they're some of the most degenerate people around. Because from my experience of talking to these people and dealing with these people, the most degenerate Christians are the Christian nationalists, are those that reject the teachings of Jesus. And look, if you look at a lot of these people in MAGA, a lot of them are connected to some sort of pedophile ring. A lot of them are connected to some sort of sex trafficking ring. Some of them are even connected to child trafficking rings as well. Do you know so their idea of morality is to exploit children. You see that? If you oppose this, you are an extremist. If you want to protect the children, you are an extremist. And no, don't give me this virtual signaling nonsense. Oh, we need to protect the children from the transies. We need to protect the children from the gays. No, you don't fucking want to protect the children because if you're just being a fucking bigot. You're just being an asshole. If you truly wanted to protect the children, you'd be fucking paying attention to, you know what? Maybe that pastor, they're a little bit too close to your fucking kid. Maybe you should fucking talk to that guy. No, you never cared about your kid's safety. It's all about control. It's all about controlling what your child feels, what your child thinks. That's all it is. Because these parents, when they talk about, oh, we need to protect the children, it isn't about anything other than control. They don't want children learning who they truly are. They want their children to be a carbon copy of them, because American morality is just pure fucking narcissism. There's just nothing moral about America. Like, wanting to feed homeless people, you could be arrested depending on where you live. So let me get this straight. If you oppose American morality, yet you do it because you actually believe in helping others, is that being an extremist? Is feeding the homeless being an extremist? Is feeding the homeless being a terrorist? Is not wanting to hunt the homeless for sport, is that being a terrorist? These are questions, valid ones, mind you. Is refusing to cry for a man like Charlie Kirk that would laugh if some disabled person were to die, if some trans person were to die, if some black person were to die? It's refusing to do that, but not saying one way or another how you felt about him. You just don't give a shit. Is that being an extremist? I will not mourn some white supremacists. I will not conform to this fascist culture that these degenerates are trying to inject on the fucking country. Oh yeah, overthrowing the government, that is considered being an extremist. But isn't that what the right wing have been talking about for decades? Oh, wait. You only care about that if it's people wanting to overthrow this fucking fascist government. Oh yeah, Antifa, that's terrorism. Like, yeah, well, just not liking fascism and not liking a bunch of fucking goons in our communities, that's being an extremist. Caring more about a piece of metal over dead children, is that considered moral? No, I'm not advocating for gun control. Anyone who's watched me for years knows how I feel about that. But I'm just asking a question. Caring more about an inanimate object over dead kids, is that American morality? Is it being moral to care more about an inanimate object like a gun over a child's life? Apparently, according to the definition of being an extremist, opposing that would be considered extreme. Is not wanting someone to be in medical debt, yourself or your family, and you think it's not fair, and you oppose that, you think we should have universal health care, so not supporting the for-profit system, that is being an extremist, which goes into not being an anti-capitalist. So if you don't like the capitalist system, you simply don't like it. Even if you don't advocate anything than just saying you don't like it, you think the system is flawed. You think the system ruins the lives of everyone you love. You're an extremist. If you oppose the accumulation of wealth at the expense of the poor, the disabled, you're considered extremists. You see how fucking backwards this is? Simply being against immoral things in America is being an extremist. So American morality is just nothing more than hypocrisy and degeneracy and psychopathy. Like, there really isn't any morals in America. It's like whoever like fucking designates this, whatever this and this is terrorism, it's a bunch of fucking billionaires, because their morality is so fucked up that they don't have morals. So we have to live by the morals of a bunch of out of touch people who have never interacted with everyday people once in their fucking lives. They probably have never gone to a grocery store like Trump, or even been in any fucking house that doesn't look like one of their mansions. So people that live in the most degenerate lifestyles, they're dictating what morality is to us. Their idea of American morals is basically the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and you have to. And if you're not willing to suck it up, then you are immoral in their eyes. This is the reason why this country is going to fall, because degeneracy is celebrated. Like, if you're not pro-American Christian, then you are an extremist, even if you oppose the Christian nationalist movement, because it is basically poison and gives a bad rap to the Christian religion. If you do it in the love of Jesus, that's considered an extremist. Let's be real. American morality hates fucking Jesus. It hates being constrained by anything. America is not a Christian nation. If America is an anti-Christian nation, because the religion of America and its morals is white supremacy, fascism, and capitalism. That's America's religion. It has nothing else. If religion got in the way of profits, they would outlaw every fucking religion that isn't conforming to the capitalist system. That's just how fucked and warped this country's morality is. There is no morals. So what is American morals anyway? That's what I like to know, because what I've been talking about so far doesn't sound it doesn't sound moral to me. I don't know. I kind of want to live in a world where people have basically all their needs met, where people can get an education if they so wished without worrying about getting into debt, where people don't have to ever go hungry, or the disabled can just live their life like they want to. And we don't have a for-profit healthcare system. I'd like to live in that kind of world, but that's never going to happen. But that's considered an extremist and immoral and antithetical to what American morals are. So, if being against American morals, or the lack of morals, is better, I'd rather say that. If you're against a country that has no morals at all, that it doesn't encourage to be moral, it encourages to be immoral, it encourages you to be a psychopath, it encourages you to give in to your darker impulses and just support the suffering of others and be gleeful about it and be content with your place in life and not rebelling against your slave masters, if that is your idea of morality, if supporting a genocide is what your idea of morality is, and people protesting against it are considered immoral and extreme, you're the fucking extremist. If you think wanting to preserve our biosphere and that is more important than short-term profits, then you're the fucking extremist. We live in bizarro world. Common sense things like wanting to preserve our fucking planet with a finite amount of resources, we're extreme for that. It's fucking backwards. Like Trump, the Heritage Foundation, all these fucking fascists, they don't have anything to offer. They don't build, they destroy. And if there's anything I've learned, is evil can never create anything. It destroys. And worst comes to worst, I could see this country fucking destroying the entire planet because America and its ruling class are some of the most deranged psychopaths that the world's ever produced, that they would rather the world burn than allow it to flourish without them. American morality is it's beyond fucked. If the human race is to continue to exist in the next century, America can't exist as a country. Its culture, its morals, they're beyond fucked up. In fact, the West in general has to cease to exist as it exists now. But I'm commenting mainly towards America. If we're going to have a future, we have to abandon the very concept of American morality, because there is none. If you care about the homeless, you're anti-American. If you want to feed the homeless, you're anti-American. You want children to be fed and not go to bed hungry, you're anti-American. You want to end the wars, you're anti-American. You want Medicare for all, you're anti-American. You think everyone should be living with dignity and shouldn't be forced to work until they die, you're anti-American. If you think everyone should be housed and with no strings attached, you're anti-American. If you don't think the government should be able to impose its will on you based on your sexual orientation, you're anti-American. If you're trans and you reject the gender binaries, you're anti-American. If you're indigenous and you want your land back and you want nobody to fuck with your territory, you're anti-American. If you're black and you want nothing to do with this country, you want an independent nation, you're anti-American. If you're black and you want reparations, you're anti-American. Of course, I could go on and on and on and on. What I'm saying in a nutshell, if you're for justice, you are anti-American. And honestly, everyone that opposes what this country does domestically and abroad needs to stop being afraid of being labeled anti-American and embrace the fucking label. We need to stop being cowards. Because we're going to be labeled that regardless, even if we want to naively save this country. There is no saving this degenerate country. The best thing we could do is build our communities, ride out the storm, and outlast the fascist storm that's coming. But then again, the fascists will destroy themselves because, like I said, fascists cannot and will not build. Like that speech that Trump made in the UN, it's an embarrassment. It's a joke. Like Trump just sounds like a child. This is a country that believes it still is the 1990s. The future isn't America. The future isn't Europe. The future is Asia. That is the future. I don't care. You can kick and scream all you want, but that's the future for the world. Morality, the future as well is not American. So you might as well get off pretending that you're not anti-American, because if you are for justice and you want to see a better world, you want to see a more equitable world, you are not for pro-America, you're anti-America. Trust me, I've investigated thoroughly about what this country stands for, what this country has done since its inception. This country is not worth preserving. Let it rot, let the country collapse, and let the people the psychopaths, let MAGA, let them have this fucking dump. Let them tear each other apart, because that's what's inevitably going to happen. We already are seeing it happen. The collapse has begun. Charlie Kirk's wife, she doesn't fucking care. Like, if you see the way her face was, that's not a woman that's grieving. Trump didn't fucking care. Neither did Stephen Miller. None of these people give a shit about Charlie Kirk. In fact, I would be surprised if they fucking killed him. Okay, if I do not stop, it's gonna devolve into another video. So yeah, American morality, no. Justice for Palestine, yes. Down with Zionism, down with Americanism, and down with fascism.